Okay, so hopefully we can get this and get it on here nicely. So this is the cooler that you have here. The link for one of these coolers is on the site. When you order it, it comes in 2 boxes. You want to keep the cooler in the boxes. Here's the lid here. This holds about 500 ounces. 500 ounces of breast milk will be around 40 pounds, give or take, depending on the cooler, how much milk you can get in here. I have a plastic bag or a paper bag here. You can use newspaper, paper bags. I'm out of newspaper right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip it. And I'm going to want to line the bottom of this cooler with this paper bag. This will pour any extra moisture away from the milk and keep it away from the milk, because milk melts at a cooler melting point than ice does. So when you lay something like this, just a thin layer at the bottom, it will pull that moisture away so that when you ship it, it will be fine and help keep it nice and cool. So that's what I'm going to see. If you see how I did it, I just laid it in the bottom. So I have it lined here. So now I have some of my milk here, as you can see, getting ready to stack it. I only put about 5 to 6 in each one of these little bags. I lay it down to freeze it flat so that when I ship it, the bags will lay flush against each other, helping keep the milk cold. So put one down, one up, one down, one up. And I stick them in here. Now remember, the larger amount of milk you have, you don't have to ship with dry ice. If you ship within your state, if you ship within a state or two of yours, you can ship ground shipping, which would get there next day. How do you find out if it gets there sooner than later, so you don't have to spend so much money in shipping? Is you go to ups.com, you get the donor's zip code, you get your zip code, and you just do the estimated shipping time. You scroll down, you look down, and look at the time in transit and how much milk. Like I said, 500 ounces weighs about 40 pounds, give or take. And the same goes with, and you cut that in half. Say if it's less than that, and you cut it in half. But you should be able to ship within your state 500 ounces for 40 pounds for around $20 to $25 within your own state, and that will get there next day. So say you got a mom south of you, maybe 4 or 5 hours, but you can't make the drive but need the milk, you can get one of these coolers, have it shipped out to her. She fills it up, goes to the UPS store, calls you on the phone, you pay for it over the phone, ground shipping, and will be there next day. You can do that. You can do it up to 3 days in transit without dry ice at larger amounts for about 500 ounces. You can do lower amounts, maybe 300. Keep in mind the time of the year. Is it winter? Is it summer? Summer, you got to be a little bit more careful. At the lower ounces, like say 300, you probably want to try to get dry ice. We have a link for that as well, so check that out if that's what you're going to do maybe in the summer. But the larger amounts, if they're within a state or two away from you, you can do it ground shipping at 500 ounces, and it will be fine, and it should only cost you a few dollars with the cost of the cooler as well, of course. So let's finish putting this milk in here so that you all can see how I do it. So as of today, February, I have donated to over 30 babies, some sick, some NICU babies, some one-time donations, some ongoing, and it's been a total of 30 babies, and that has been since 2006. So you can help a lot of people. So I urge you, if you are a mom that has extra milk and can share and will be willing to ship, there are states out there, there are places where the need is greater and they can't find milk in the area. Like Portland, there's a lot of moms in need and there's not a lot of donors, and they're having to reach out into the other states. There's Wyoming, Colorado, Indiana, where there's breastfeeding. There's not a lot of moms breastfeeding at all, and if you're a mom and you need a donor milk, know, you can't find it. You can't find it. So here, I'm going to have you guys take a closer look at this milk in here, this one layer I did. So I did this layer of milk right here. As you can see, I put it up and I put it down. Okay, you don't want it, and you can see right here the paper bag I put in here. You don't want it tight. You want it, see how I can lift this out pretty easy? It's easy, it's not really tight. What happens is the cool air from outside, the warmer air, meets the colder air spilling out from the cooler right here. It will make the air in here and the milk expand, and what it will do, it will split the cooler as the milk expands. So you don't want this tight. You want room for this milk to expand and the air as well. And so that's why you want it just in here nice and gentle, and keep that in there. There's my little one trying to help me. So that will give you a better idea of how loose to keep it and how you want to do it. Okay, so here I go on the next layer of milk. Sorry, let's tape it on here. Alright, so up and down, of course. I just want to keep pushing it back up, you know. Lay it down here. And when I save up my milk, I normally save up over 500 because I want to make sure because I'm doing it without dry ice, I want to make sure that every little space that I can fill in here is going to get filled. So, you know, sometimes I ship it out, you know, 530, 540 ounces, you know. I just save up just a little bit more over when I do a shipment, just to make sure that I'm putting, you know, milk in here that's going to be shipped. And if I can do another day for somebody, that's, you know, one more feeding for another baby that you can do. Let's see how I keep pushing up here. Okay, see? So that's pretty snug in there. I mean, it's a little bit loose, but you don't want it too loose. I'm going to see how tight. See, that's too tight because I want it, so I'm going to take that out. I'm going to push it up. Now I'm going to start my next layer right in here. And you can put, if you want to put another paper bag between, or paper between this layer and that layer, that's fine. I normally don't. I normally put it at the bottom, so any condensation, it gets pulled away from the milk. Okay, so I got my milk loaded in here. Here's the top. The last thing you're going to want to do is pull the cardboard back just a little bit. You want to make sure that this is flush. This is lined up perfectly on top of this. What happens is this bottom layer will bulge out if there's too much milk in it, and it will let a ton of cold air escape, and you don't want that. And then the last thing is I take tape and I put tape on the very corners. So let me take some tape just to make sure that it stays safe, and I just pull it back a little bit, if you can see. Sorry, I'm trying to do this myself. I know it's horrible. And I put the tape down here, and then I push down the cooler, and I make sure that the cooler's on there tight, and then I tape it down. And I do this on all four corners, just one piece, just to make sure it stays on there tight. Okay, so next step here. I got my cooler all set up, I got my tape on. I put it in the back of my car, or your truck, whenever you're driving, and you go down to the UPS store. I call the family. Right now, this is going to Kara in Pennsylvania. I take my cell phone as soon as I walk in there. I call her on the phone, and I let the cashier know I'm shipping some stuff, and my friend is going to pay over the phone, and I just call. And I hand my cell phone off to her. If you don't have a cell phone, you can have the mom call the UPS, or UPS can call her and do it that way. And then you don't have to pay for anything. There's no out-of-pocket expenses for yourself as a donor, and then there's no exchange of any funds or anything along those lines. The only other thing, I guess, after that is when you get your receipt. It'll be given to me, the mom, the donor, and there's going to be a number on there, and I'll show you that here once we go and ship. and how to give that tracking number to the mom you're shipping the milk to. That's so you can keep an eye on it, make sure where it's at in transit, when it will be delivered, and they'll adjust that online, you know, as it's coming. So let's ship this milk out.